Growing up, I was told to work hard in school, go to college, get a degree, a 9-to-5 job, and then I'd be able to get a house like my parents did, raise a family, and be happy. But things have changed since my parents were young, and while housing, car, and rent prices have all gone up drastically, the average income has not gone up at the same rate. So this advice to work hard, go to school, and get a job so that you can one day buy a house no longer applies to people in my generation. Many of us are finding ourselves struggling to pay rent and living paycheck to paycheck, and this is one of the many reasons I've been living in a van for the past 4 years. When I graduated from high school, I honestly could not fathom getting a 9-to-5 job that I hated like everyone told me to do and everyone around me was doing, and I honestly thought it was crazy that that concept was so normalized. So I decided to drop out, save up, build out this van, and I had these dreams of being self-employed and creating a job for myself that I love to go to every day. But that's only one of the reasons why I chose to live in a van. I also chose to live in a van because I wanted to travel and I wanted to see the world while I was young and while I was capable and healthy. I wanted to be able to live close to nature, and I wanted to do it in an affordable and sustainable way. But I've been living in this van for over 4 years now, and I think I need an upgrade. Welcome to my new van. Over the next 4 months, I'm going to be building this van out, and I'm going to use money that I've saved throughout my travels and because I haven't had to pay rent, and I've been living in my last van for over 4 years, and I'm going to invest it in this van so that this van has a lot of luxuries that I've lived without. But the first step to the van build is planning a layout. I'll admit this has been a pretty overwhelming process. There are so many different possibilities for van layouts, and I found myself going back and forth a million times trying to figure out what layout I want in this van. I'm feeling so lost and overwhelmed about this van build. Just as I have my layout together, I run into a road bump and I have to rethink the entire thing. And the thing about designing such a small space is you're always going to have to make some compromises. I just don't know what compromises to make. I plan to live in this van for years and I just want it to be perfect, and I'm overwhelmed by all of the options. One thing that's really been helping is actually taping out the dimensions of everything in my van. That way I can kind of get an idea of what everything will feel like and look like in the actual physical space instead of just drawing it out. But I'm still feeling pretty overwhelmed and indecisive about the van layout as of right now. I think I finally designed my dream layout, and a lot of this has been inspired by things I liked and didn't like in my last van. Let's start with the things I like. Number 1 is how much storage I added in this van. Number 2 is this modular seating area. Number 3 is my massive kitchen. I have a really comfortable queen size bed that I love. This is my outdoor shower, and I also have a water heater, and I don't know what I would do without these two things. Actually, I do know what I would do: suffer. I got rear-ended one time and I couldn't use either of those things. It was horrible. Now for the things that I don't really love about my van and that I want to change in the next one. Number 1, there's not really a formal space to work. Number 2 is the fixed bed. I know most people complain about not having a fixed bed. After 4 years of not having like a formal workspace and lounge area, I just feel like it's gonna be so nice to have, because I do everything in my bed. I eat in my bed, I work in my bed, I play games with my friends and hang out in my bed, and it's nice, but I like the idea of having different spaces that feel different for night and day. The next one is my composting toilet. I feel bad saying this because it actually changed my life. I went 2 years without a toilet at all, and getting a toilet was definitely a game changer, but the thing about composting toilets is they don't actually compost. I don't even know why they call it that. So once a month you do have to empty your waste, and it's not compost. It's literally your waste. It's so disgusting. It's really gross. So I definitely don't want a composting toilet in my next van. The next one is there's no indoor shower. This is another controversial one because a lot of people say that they don't use their showers enough, but for me, I spend so much time hiking and rock climbing and doing active things, and I'm not gonna lie, it sounds so nice to be able to shower inside. I actually use my outdoor shower primarily. I don't have a gym membership or anything, but there's times where there's not a lot of privacy. Even if the water's hot, there's wind chill, and that makes it a less enjoyable experience. So I'm really excited to have a shower inside of my van. And the next one is my fridge is too small. I love my little fridge, but I also cook so much. It's one of my passions. So I'm really excited to get a little bit of a bigger fridge so I can stock up on more things. So with all this knowledge, I've designed the perfect van build, and I've done it with a program called Sweet Home 3D. This isn't sponsored, but all the other programs I see recommended are paid, like you have to pay for them, and this is the only one that I found that's free. It may not have as many features as the other ones, I don't know, because I haven't used any other ones, but what I love about Sweet Home 3D is that you can put different objects in and it's all to scale. So you can put the dimension of the fridge, put that in, the dimension of your shower, you can put that into the program, and that way you can see exactly what's going to fit. I've also been watching so many van builds and taking notes on the products that I like, and any products that I'm interested in or I think that I would want in my van build, I just take note of that in my notebook. I actually really want to organize that, and I want to create a spreadsheet where I also put down the weight of each item just so I know how much everything weighs and how much everything costs at the end of the van build, but I haven't done that yet. And then the last thing I've been doing is sketching in my journal, and this has really helped me get an idea of what I like and what I don't like with colors and stuff, and I also just feel like it's really therapeutic to draw in that journal. And lastly, I've been using Pinterest a lot. Whenever I have a project or dream like this, I become a Pinterest addict.
I don't know where to start with suddenly not the same love. Right here I know by heart.
My Pinterest board is a amalgamation. Is that a word?
What the fuck?
No, is that a word though?
Not a word.
Really, it feels like such a word.
Amalgamation?
Okay, I'm gonna make a word. My Pinterest board is a amalgamation.
What the? Is that a word? That I've literally never heard
I
that.
don't know if that's a word actually.
No, I fully think you made that up.
Okay, maybe
Culmination is what you're
Culmination. My Pinterest board is a culmination of a few different things. I have colors, specifically in bathroom tile, because I'm debating on having a colorful bathroom tile. I have a neutral palette too. People online like to call that the sad beige aesthetic, which I'm personally a big fan of. I like the idea of having a neutral base and then adding color in afterwards in design and accessories and stuff. But I'm definitely toggling back and forth between a neutral bathroom or a colorful bathroom. Let me know what you think I should do, because I have no clue what to choose for that. And overall, I've just been spending hours on Pinterest every single day trying to curate my perfect aesthetic for this van build. I have a lot of pins from home design. I have a lot of pins from van design. I think it's nice to have both, because with van design you get the space efficiency that's really helpful, but in home design I just love like a homey feeling van, and I really want that in my next build. So Pinterest has been so important to me and such a vital part of this van build, and I highly recommend getting on it if you're designing home, a van. It's a game changer for sure.
Link down below.
Sponsored by Pinterest. No, just kidding, but honestly I would love that. And since I've been living in this van so long, I thought that I would share some of my hot takes, my personal do's and don'ts for a van. My first hot take is heated floors. That's a yes from me as somebody who hasn't had heated floors. Obviously, the systems can be very expensive. Hydronic heated floor systems tend to be about $4,000, $5,000, but I have a pretty innovative, affordable way to do it, and I'll show you guys in a video because I've never seen it done before, so I'm really excited to try that out in my van. Next hot take is no recirculating shower. It's an incredible idea. I did a lot of research on it though, and I just don't think that it's practical for me. The things that you need for a recirculating shower take up so much room, and you also have to spend a lot of money changing out the filters very frequently, which is just a lot of labor for what it's worth in my opinion. And I've also heard people saying that the filters get clogged regularly because of the shampoo and conditioner, and overall I'm just opting to add more water instead of adding a recirculating shower. The next one is no added vapor barrier. I see so many people add vapor barriers, but from my understanding the van walls itself are a vapor barrier, so if you add another one you're violating a very important law of vapor barriers, which is to only have one. So I did not do a vapor vapor barrier on my last van and I had no problems with mold, and I will not be doing a vapor barrier again in this one. Yes to lots of solar. I'm going to have over 700 watts of solar in this next van, and I had 640 watts in my last one. I see people skimp on solar sometimes, but as somebody who's going to be living full time in a van, I feel like it's one of those areas where you really shouldn't skimp. Another yes from me is lithium ion batteries. In my last van, I started with AGM and I ended up switching to lithium ion batteries, and if you plan to live in your van for a while, I definitely think it's worth the extra money. Yes to a skylight. I'm a big fan of a skylight. I think it adds so much natural light, and I love being able to look at the stars and the moon. Yes to a toilet. I went 2 years without a toilet in my last van, and it was a game changer when I eventually got one. Yes to a water heater also. This just makes everything so much nicer when you're doing your dishes, washing your face, taking showers. It has definitely changed the game for me on the road. And the last one is yes to a propane stove. These are all personal opinions, obviously, and you may have a different one, but I really love cooking on fire, so in my next van I'll be having propane versus my last one where I had induction. Obviously you don't need to add any of these things, and some of these are definitely luxury items. These are just my opinions after living in a van long term, and since I plan to live in this next van long term as well, I don't mind spending money to make my experience on the road a little more sustainable and comfortable. But it's definitely doable without these things. I went years, like I said, without a toilet. I also even traveled in a little Suburban before I had my last van, so I've definitely lived in more uncomfortable situations. But as I get older and as I spend more time on the road, I'm really wanting comfortability, luxury. I want to live sustainably on the road and feel like I have my little home there. Those are all of my tips for laying out a van and designing one. If you're also starting your van build, congratulations. I am so excited to be alongside with you in this journey. Building a van is such a difficult task and intimidating, but it feels so rewarding to go through with it, and I'm so excited to do it for the second time. So if you're new here, be sure to like and also subscribe to follow along for the journey, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye!